AITA for giving away my girlfriend's bracelet after she lied and skipped our anniversary? I'm Gabriel, 33, and by the time our 4th anniversary came around, I had gotten embarrassingly good at planning dates for someone who acted surprised every year that anniversaries existed. Alyssa was 31, and we had been together long enough for me to know she liked corner booths because she hated people walking behind her, hated roses because they were too obvious, and always ordered sparkling water before deciding she actually wanted iced tea. I knew which side of the bed she slept on, which song she skipped in the car, and exactly how long to leave her alone after an argument before she accused me of ignoring her. She knew I would show up. That was the main thing she knew about me. In the beginning, Alyssa's unpredictability felt exciting. She sent me voice notes from grocery store aisles because a cereal box reminded her of some stupid joke we had made. She stole fries from my plate and acted offended when I ordered extra for her. She would call at 11 o'clock at night and say, "Put on shoes. I need pancakes." And somehow that sounded romantic instead of inconvenient. Back then, when she forgot something, she made up for it. She would show up the next day with coffee, grab my face with both hands, and say, "I'm the worst. You still love me, though." And I did. The problem was that being chosen by Alyssa eventually started feeling like a temporary promotion she could revoke whenever something more interesting came along. The changes were small enough that I kept explaining them away. She arrived 40 minutes late to my friend Micah's birthday dinner and walked in holding a shopping bag, like we should all be impressed she had made it at all. When I quietly asked why she hadn't texted me, she said, "Can we not make this a whole thing in front of everybody?" She forgot a concert we had tickets for, then blamed me for not reminding her twice. She borrowed money for a hotel room during a girls' weekend and left my Venmo request sitting there for months, even though she posted pictures of new shoes the next week. She cropped me out of photos of gifts I had given her. At first, I thought it was about aesthetics. Then I noticed she never cropped out Piper, her best friend, or random men standing behind her at parties. Once, I bought her a jacket she had been talking about for weeks. She posted a mirror selfie wearing it with the caption, "Sometimes the universe knows what you need." I commented, "The universe accepts Venmo." She deleted my comment. When I asked why, she said, "You made it weird." That phrase became her favorite escape hatch. I was making it weird when I asked her to text if she was going to be late. I was making it weird when I asked why she introduced me as my friend Gabriel to a group of people I had never met. I was making it weird when I told her it hurt that she had missed dinner with my mom after promising she would come. Every time I tried to explain the pattern, she acted like I was putting her on trial over one isolated mistake. "I'm not asking you to worship me," I told her once. "I'm just asking not to be treated like an inconvenience." She crossed her arms and looked at me like I had handed her a legal document. "You always turn everything into pressure. I asked you to show up when you said you would. And now you're making me feel controlled." That was how most of our serious conversations ended. I would start with something specific, she would turn it into a question about my character, and 20 minutes later, I would be apologizing for my tone. I told myself that patience was maturity. Looking back, a lot of what I called patience was fear. I was afraid that if I stopped making the relationship easy for her, she would decide the relationship wasn't worth having. Alyssa's stepsister, Ivy, noticed more than I wanted her to. Ivy was 27 and had joined the family when her mother, Sabrina, married Alyssa's father years earlier. She and Alyssa were civil in the way relatives sometimes are when they've learned how to smile without trusting each other. Ivy wasn't loud. She didn't compete for attention. She remembered people's coffee orders, carried extra hair ties, and always noticed who had cleaned up after everyone else went home. At family dinners, I was usually the one bringing food, moving chairs, loading the dishwasher, or driving Alyssa because she didn't feel like dealing with parking. Ivy was the only person who consistently said thank you. One Thanksgiving, Alyssa was complaining that dinner had started late. Ivy looked at her and said, "He drove all the way here and brought half the food. You can say thank you." Alyssa rolled her eyes. "Ivy, stop trying so hard." The room got quiet for a second. I laughed it off because that's what I did back then. Later, while I was wrapping leftovers, Ivy came into the kitchen and said, "You know, you don't have to pretend that didn't bother you." I said, "It's fine." She gave me a look that told me she knew fine meant I don't want to ruin the evening. She didn't push. She just handed me a clean container and said, "Still, Thank you for bringing everything. That was Ivy. No flirting. No secret emotional affair. No hidden tension. She was simply kind in a family where kindness was often treated like weakness. Our 4th anniversary landed on a Friday, and I planned it 3 weeks in advance. I booked the corner booth at a restaurant Alyssa had mentioned twice. The reservation confirmation was sitting in my email. I ordered a slim silver bracelet and had the date we started dating engraved on the inside. Not our names, just the date. I wrote a short card by hand because Alyssa always said handwritten things felt more personal. I also put together a small video montage from old phone clips. Nothing elaborate. Just 20 seconds of us laughing in a parking lot, dancing badly in a kitchen, getting caught in the rain, and making faces at each other during a family dinner. I had also prepaid for a cabin the following weekend. 2 nights, refundable until Saturday afternoon. I didn't tell her about it because I wanted it to be the surprise after dinner. I wasn't planning a proposal. I was planning one night where I didn't have to beg my own girlfriend to show up. That afternoon, I texted her, "Reservation is at 7 o'clock. I'll pick you up at 6:30. She reacted with a heart. At 6:12, she wrote, "Can you just meet me there?" Running behind. I said sure. At 6:48, while I was already sitting in the booth, she texted again. "Okay, don't be mad." My stomach tightened before I even opened the rest. Piper's thing got bigger than expected, and she really needs me here. "We can do tomorrow." I stared at the message. The server had just placed 2 menus on the table. The bracelet box was in my jacket pocket. The card was tucked inside it. I typed, "It's our anniversary." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then appeared again. I know, but Piper already counted me in. "I can't bail just because you picked tonight." I read that twice. Then I wrote, "I didn't pick tonight. Our relationship did." Her answer came immediately. "Please don't start. Just eat without me. I'm not ditching everyone for one date." The server returned and looked at the empty chair. "Would you like a few more minutes?" I almost said yes. That was the humiliating part. Even then, some reflex in me wanted to protect the possibility that Alyssa might suddenly walk through the door laughing, kiss my cheek, and tell me not to look so serious. Instead, I looked at my phone one more time. Alyssa had sent, "You're being dramatic. We can celebrate tomorrow." I replied, "Got it." The server gently picked up the second menu. I paid for the sparkling water I had barely touched and the small reservation charge. On the receipt, there was a blank line for a tip. My hand shook enough that I had to write the total twice. No one in the restaurant was staring at me. I knew that. It still felt like everyone could see the empty chair. Outside, I sat in my car for several minutes with the engine off. I was angry, but the anger wasn't hot. It felt clean and cold, like something had finally snapped into focus. For once, I didn't call her. I didn't write a paragraph. I didn't ask what time she would be home. I opened Instagram without thinking and saw a story from Ivy. It was a photo of a paper cup beside a folded certificate. The caption read, "Some people remember everyone else's big days, but nobody remembers theirs. Still proud of myself." I remembered Alyssa mentioning that Ivy had finished a certification program that week. She had said it while scrolling through her phone. "Ivy's making this huge deal out of some course," she had told me. "She makes everything sentimental." That sentence from Ivy hit harder than it should have because it sounded exactly like the last 4 years of my life. I messaged her. "Congratulations. Are you still out?" She replied a few minutes later. "Thank you. I'm at the coffee place by the bookstore." What? I should be clear about what happened next. I knew giving Ivy that bracelet would cause drama. I wasn't in a fog. I wasn't accidentally generous. I was hurt, and some part of me wanted to put my effort somewhere it wouldn't be treated like garbage. But I also didn't walk into that coffee shop looking for a replacement girlfriend. I found Ivy sitting near the window with a laptop open and a half-eaten muffin beside her. She looked up when I came in and immediately noticed my shirt. "Weren't you supposed to be at dinner?" I was. Her expression changed. "What happened?" She chose something else. I sat across from her and put the small bracelet box on the table. She stared at it. "No. You don't even know what it is." "I know enough." "Gabriel, no. It's not romantic." That somehow makes this less insane. Despite everything, I laughed once. She pushed the box back toward me without touching it. "Take it home. Return it. It's engraved. Then throw it in a drawer." I looked through the window at people walking past with shopping bags and umbrellas. I bought it for someone because I wanted one night to mean something, I said. She decided it didn't. You finished something important this week, and no one in that family even took you to dinner. Ivy shook her head. That does not make me the next person in line. You're not. Then what are you doing? I thought about that. This was bought for the wrong person, I said. But the gratitude behind it is real. She looked at me for a long time. Gabriel, this is going to look messy. Only because people are used to messy behavior being hidden. That sounds like something a man says right before doing something he knows is a bad idea. It might be. She leaned back and folded her arms. And what exactly are you thanking me for? For noticing. For saying thank you. For not acting like effort is embarrassing. Her face softened, but she still didn't reach for the box. I told her about the dinner. I showed her Alyssa's text, not because I wanted Ivy to take sides, but because I could tell she thought I was overreacting to a minor delay. When she read, I'm not ditching everyone for one date, her mouth tightened. She said that tonight? Yes. Ivy looked toward the window. Then she said, I'll accept it as a congratulations gift. That is all. And if you make it weird, I'm giving it back. Fair. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. I had already made the montage for Alyssa. I had spent the afternoon thinking about how I wanted to record her opening the bracelet so we could add it to the anniversary video. Sitting there, I had a different thought. Not a noble thought. A pointed one. I asked Ivy if she would be comfortable recording a short clip. She said no immediately. Then she asked what I planned to say. No names. No insults. Just that I'm giving something to someone who actually showed appreciation. She rubbed both hands over her face. This is terrible judgment. Probably. You are absolutely going to regret this. Maybe. And this does not mean I agree with whatever internet war you're about to start. I know. She finally said, one take. I set my phone against the sugar container. The video lasted less than 20 seconds. I slid the bracelet box across the table and said, congratulations. You worked hard, and I appreciate that you've always treated my effort like it mattered. Ivy looked uncomfortable, but sincere. Thank you, she said. Seriously. That was it. No touching. No suggestive joke. No mention of Alyssa. No dramatic music. I posted it with the caption, for years taught me this. Don't keep pouring into someone who treats your effort like background noise. Then I put my phone face down. Ivy stared at me. You actually posted it. I did. You know she's going to lose her mind. I know. Are you breaking up with her? That question caught me. I don't know yet. Ivy looked disappointed. Not because she wanted me, because she knew what that answer meant. You should figure that out before the comments do it for you, she said. I left the coffee shop around 9:30. Alyssa hadn't called once. At 10:15, she texted, hope you're not sulking. I didn't answer. At 11 o'clock, she sent me a photo of Piper holding a drink and making a face at the camera. There was no visible background, no location tag, and no sign of Alyssa. See? She needed me, Alyssa wrote. I put my phone on silent. The next morning, I woke up to 36 missed calls. The video had been shared by a relationship account sometime after midnight. Then another account reposted it with the caption, he gave the anniversary gift to the stepsister. By 7 o'clock in the morning, it had hundreds of thousands of views. The comments were split between people calling me a legend and people calling me emotionally reckless. This is either iconic or deeply unhealthy. The stepsister did not ask to be drafted into this war. Somebody forgot she was replaceable. Bro should have just broken up with her. Why is nobody asking what the girlfriend did? I sat on the edge of my bed reading them until I realized I was letting strangers narrate my relationship before I had even decided what I was going to do. Then someone pounded on my door. Alyssa came in before I could fully open it. She had clearly slept in her makeup. Her hair was tied back badly, and she was wearing the same black top from the picture she had sent me. What the hell is wrong with you? She demanded. I closed the door. Good morning. Delete it. No. Her face changed as if she hadn't expected resistance. You gave my bracelet to Ivy. You missed the part where it stopped being yours. It had our date on it. Yes. That is psychotic. You stood me up on our anniversary. I told you I had to be there for Piper. You told me to eat alone. And your response was to humiliate me in front of the entire internet. You made me eat alone in front of an empty chair. That was private. The way she said it told me everything. The behavior was acceptable as long as no one else saw it. She walked past me into the kitchen and put both hands on the counter. Do you understand what people are saying about me? I said nothing. They're calling me selfish. They're saying Ivy is better than me. My own co-workers have seen it. She looked at me. You're making me look like a terrible girlfriend. I didn't make you miss dinner. You knew exactly how that video would look. Yes. She turned around sharply. That was the first moment I admitted it out loud. I had known. I had wanted the video to sting. I wasn't going to pretend I had simply stumbled into public revenge while carrying a gift box and a tripod. But there was still something strange about how she kept talking around the actual event. Not once had she said, "I'm sorry I hurt you." Not once had she asked how long I had sat there. Not once had she mentioned the card, the reservation, or the fact that I had planned the evening. She only cared about the video. Where were you? I asked. At Piper's. Where? She gave me a neighborhood name. What was the address? Why are you interrogating me? Tell me where you actually were. I just did. Piper's place. It wasn't at her place. It was a friend's place. She invited me. Which friend? Oh my God, Gabriel. Do you hear yourself? Yes. I sound like someone whose girlfriend canceled an anniversary dinner and can't answer one simple question. She grabbed her bag from the floor. I'm not doing this. Then I'm not deleting anything, I said. She stopped at the door. What? You came here to tell me what to delete. I'm telling you I'm not deleting it while you're lying to my face. Her eyes narrowed. I'm not lying. The lie isn't smooth, I said. It's practiced. That's worse. She left so hard the door rattled. 10 minutes later, I received a private message from a guy named Evan. I knew him vaguely through mutual friends. We had spoken twice. His message said, "Hey man, not trying to get involved, but I saw the video. I thought you two were on a break." That's what she said last night. I read it once. Then again. I wrote, "Who did she say that to?" He replied, "A few people. She said you were basically taking space, and it was complicated." Where was this? He sent me the name of a rented event space. It was nowhere near the neighborhood Alyssa had named. Then he added, Cole was there. I assumed that was why she said it. Cole was Alyssa's ex. They had dated for about a year before I met her. She always described him as immature and unreliable. According to her, he had been the one who could never commit. I opened Instagram and searched the public stories tagged at the event space. I didn't have to dig. I didn't make a fake account. I didn't follow anybody. The truth was sitting in a public story posted by someone Alyssa didn't even know well enough to warn. There she was, laughing near a table with a drink in her hand. Cole stood a few feet behind her, talking to someone. In another clip, Alyssa leaned in to say something to him. That didn't prove she had cheated. It proved she had lied. The timestamp was 7:42, right around the time the server removed the second menu from my table. I saved the public clip. A few minutes later, an emailed rideshare receipt landed in the account I used for shared expenses. Alyssa and I had connected one of her ride profiles to my card months earlier because I used to cover rides when she went out and didn't want her driving. The pickup location matched the event space. The drop-off didn't match Piper's place, or the neighborhood Alyssa had named, or anything she had told me. The receipt didn't tell me everything. It told me enough. I called Micah. He answered with, "Please tell me you did not post another video." "Not yet." "Good. Do not live stream your heartbreak." I found out she lied. What kind of lie? I told him. He stayed quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Save everything." I already did. Don't call Cole. Don't drive anywhere. Don't send a 50-message speech. I wasn't going to. You gave a bracelet to her stepsister on camera. Forgive me for checking. That's fair. Micah exhaled. Save receipts. Say less. Stop paying for things. That sounds petty. No. Petty is scratching her car. Petty is mailing glitter to her office. A boundary is not revenge just because someone hates running into it. I looked around my apartment. Alyssa's hoodie was hanging over a chair. Her spare charger was plugged into the wall. Her key was on a hook near the door. What if I still want an explanation? You already have one. She thought you would forgive her. That sentence bothered me because it was too simple. Micah continued. She may give you details. She may cry. She may call it a misunderstanding. But the explanation is that she believed your reaction would be manageable. I opened the cabin reservation email. The refund window closed at 3 o'clock that afternoon. I canceled it. A charge remained for processing, but most of the money came back. Then I went through the accounts I paid for. I changed the streaming password. I removed Alyssa from the delivery membership she used several times a week. I canceled a birthday gift order that hadn't shipped. I stopped the automatic transfer I had set up to cover part of a shared gym plan. I sent her the old Venmo request she had ignored with the note, still outstanding. Then I texted her. I'm not punishing you. I'm removing myself from a role you only respected when it benefited you. Your things will be packed. We can exchange keys with someone present. She called immediately. I let it ring. Then came the messages. You're overreacting. So now I'm not allowed to have friends? Cole being in the same room means nothing. Why are you going through my rides? That card was for emergencies. You are acting controlling and financially abusive. That last one made me sit up. For years, I had paid for extras because I wanted to. I had never controlled her income, restricted her access to her own money, or demanded that she ask permission to buy anything. I was simply no longer paying for optional services she used. She knew exactly which accusation would make me panic and back down. I took screenshots. Then she wrote, delete the video. People are making me look bad. Not, people misunderstood. Not, I'm sorry. People are making me look bad. By noon, Alyssa had posted a vague story about private pain being weaponized for attention. She never mentioned that she had skipped the dinner. She implied I had given Ivy a romantic gift during some kind of secret emotional betrayal. That was when I decided to post the second video. I didn't enjoy making it. The first one had been fueled by hurt. The second one felt like paperwork. I recorded it sitting at my kitchen table. I'm going to clarify this once, I said. I was told I got stood up on my anniversary for a friend's party. That wasn't the truth. I later learned my girlfriend told people we were basically taking space, and she attended a different gathering where her ex was present. I'm not naming private locations. And I'm not accusing anyone of anything inappropriate. I am saying I was lied to. I will not take the blame for reacting to that lie. I included a few screenshots. The cancellation text. The reservation confirmation with private details covered. A message where Alyssa called me clingy for reminding her it was our anniversary. A blurred frame from the public story showing that Cole was at the gathering. Her message saying, people are making me look bad. I didn't post the rideshare addresses. I didn't post Piper's phone number. I didn't post anything about Alyssa's family, health, job, or private history. I ended the video with, I didn't post a lie. I stopped hiding one. The internet did what the internet does. It turned one dinner into a courtroom with Wi-Fi. Some people said I had every right to defend myself. Some said I should have broken up quietly. Others said using Ivy was unfair, and that criticism landed because it wasn't completely wrong. The first video had put Ivy in the center of something she didn't create. I called her to apologize. She answered with, I told you this was going to be messy. You did. I woke up to people asking if we're dating. I'm sorry. Are you? Yes. She was quiet. Then she said, I don't think you lied. But I don't like being treated like the good sister in some competition I never agreed to. You're right. And I'm giving the bracelet back. You don't have to. I do. It was a congratulations gift for about 12 hours. Now it's evidence. I almost laughed, but her tone stopped me. I'm sorry, I said again. I know why you did it, she said. I still think it was unfair to me. That's fair. The fact that she could tell me I had hurt her without rewriting reality made me realize how abnormal my conversations with Alyssa had become. Ivy continued, Sabrina wants everyone at dinner tonight. I'm not interested in a family hearing. She says Alyssa told them you're trying to replace her with me. I'm bringing the bracelet back, Ivy said. And I'm telling the truth once. After that, leave me out of it. I will. A few minutes later, Sabrina called me. Her voice was controlled in the specific way people speak when they are trying to keep a family problem from becoming public. Gabriel, I saw the videos. I assumed. You may be hurt, but dragging Ivy into this was unnecessary. I agree that Ivy shouldn't have been put in the middle. That is not what your video suggests. Then ask Alyssa why Ivy is easier to blame than the lie. Sabrina paused. Public humiliation is not how adults solve problems. I tried private conversations for years. That doesn't justify everything. No, I said. It doesn't. She seemed surprised that I agreed. I continued. The first video was petty. I can own that. But it does not make Alyssa's story true. Sabrina asked me to come to dinner and bring Alyssa's belongings so everything could be handled at once. I almost refused. Then I looked at the packed bag by my door. Alyssa's hoodie, spare charger, makeup pouch, 2 books, a pair of shoes, and the key she had given me to her place. I wanted the exchange done. I wanted witnesses. So I went. Everyone was already there when I arrived. Sabrina sat at the head of the table. Alyssa's father was beside her, looking like he wanted to disappear into the wall. Ivy sat near the end, the bracelet box in front of her. Alyssa was crying. Not quietly, not uncontrollably, either. She was crying in a way that made sure everyone could see how hurt she was. I placed the bag near the door. I did not come to be voted back into the relationship, I said. I came to return her things and say this once with witnesses. Alyssa wiped her face. See? He talks like he's in court now. You told people we were on a break. I said we were having problems. You said we were basically taking space. That's not the same thing. It was news to me. Sabrina lifted a hand. Everyone needs to lower their voice. No one had raised it yet, but that didn't last long. She looked at me. Gabriel, why didn't you handle this privately? I did. You posted 2 videos. I tried to handle things privately for 4 years. Alyssa only respected me when there was an audience. Alyssa laughed bitterly. Oh, please. You loved the attention. The first video? I said. Part of me did. That made the room still. I had learned something from arguing with Alyssa. If I denied every imperfect motive, she could spend the entire conversation proving I wasn't a saint instead of answering for what she had done. So I didn't pretend. I wanted her to feel a fraction of what it felt like to sit at that table alone, I said. That was petty. I shouldn't have put Ivy in the middle. But none of that changes where Alyssa was or what she told people. Alyssa pointed at the bracelet box. You knew giving that to Ivy would hurt me. You're right. Her face tightened, as if she had expected me to dodge. I knew it would hurt, I said. I just didn't know you'd be more hurt by losing the attention than by losing me. That is such a disgusting thing to say. Then tell me what you're sorry for. I'm sorry this got out of control. That's not an apology. I'm sorry you felt embarrassed. That's not one either. She threw both hands up. What do you want from me? The truth would have been a start. I told you the truth. I was with Piper. No, you weren't. I was at a party she invited me to. You gave me a fake neighborhood. I panicked because you were acting crazy. You lied before I reacted. Alyssa looked at Sabrina. Do you see what he does? He corners me until I say something wrong. I took out my phone. I'm not going to read every message, I said. I have one question. Did you tell Piper that if I asked, she should say you were with her? Alyssa went completely still. Ivy looked up from the table. Sabrina said, Alyssa? A phone buzzed near the center of the table. It was Sabrina's. She looked at the screen. Piper is calling. Alyssa moved too quickly. Don't answer that. Sabrina answered. Piper, you're on speaker. There was a pause on the other end. Why am I on speaker? Sabrina said, we are discussing what happened Friday night. Piper exhaled. I already told Alyssa I'm not getting in the middle. You were already in the middle, I said. Piper recognized my voice. Oh. Alyssa leaned toward the phone. Piper, don't. Piper said, I'm not lying for you on speaker. The room went silent. Sabrina's voice changed. Alyssa, what is she talking about? Piper started speaking quickly. I thought you were just going to tell him you were with me if he asked. I didn't think it was going to turn into all this. Alyssa stood up. You said you would cover for me. I said I didn't care what you told him. That is not the same as agreeing to lie when your whole family calls me. You invited me. Yes, but you told everyone you and Gabriel were basically taking space. I said it was complicated. You said you wanted Cole to stop acting weird about talking to you. Alyssa looked at me. Nothing in her face resembled remorse. It was panic, pure panic at losing control of the version she had prepared. Piper kept going. I didn't think you were doing anything wrong. I just thought you wanted to look single for one night. Which was still messed up, by the way. Cole wasn't the villain in that room. He had enjoyed the attention. He had apparently believed what Alyssa told him. But he hadn't promised me anything. Alyssa had. Sabrina ended the call and placed her phone face down. Is that true? She asked. Alyssa sat again. It sounds worse than it was. That is not an answer. I wasn't going to do anything with Cole. You told people you were available, I said. I did not say available. You edited our relationship status without telling me. Oh my God, Gabriel, it was one night. No, it was one night built on 4 years of betting I would absorb whatever you did. She looked away. I opened the final screenshot. It was from a message Alyssa had sent Piper before the anniversary. Piper had forwarded it to Ivy after the story exploded because she wanted proof that she hadn't invented the cover story. I hadn't planned to show it unless Alyssa kept lying. She kept lying. I read it aloud. He'll be mad for a day, then he'll make it up to me like he always does. No one spoke. That was the moment everyone stopped looking at my video and started looking at the relationship behind it. Alyssa stared at the table. Sabrina said her name once. Alyssa's father rubbed a hand over his face. Ivy picked up the bracelet box and placed it in the center of the table. She didn't throw it. She didn't make a speech. I don't want to be part of whatever game this is, she said. Gabriel shouldn't have put me in the video. He apologized for that. But he didn't lie about how you treat him. Alyssa looked at her with open hatred. You love this. No, Ivy said. That's the difference between us. Sabrina's chair scraped against the floor as she stood. Alyssa, you owe Ivy an apology before you say another word about being embarrassed. For what? She accepted my anniversary gift. She accepted a gift after you abandoned your boyfriend and forgot her accomplishment. Then you accused her of trying to steal him because you needed someone else to blame. Alyssa looked at me. Are you really going to let them talk to me like this? There it was. Even then, she expected me to step in, to soften the room, to rescue her from the consequences of what she had done. I reached into my pocket and placed her key on the table. Then I took my own spare key from the bag and slid it toward her. I loved you, I said. I'm not pretending I didn't, but I'm done being treated like a backup plan with a wallet. She started crying again. This time, it sounded less controlled. You're ending 4 years over one dinner. No, I'm ending 4 years over the fact that you bet I would stay. I said I was sorry. You apologized for the reaction, not the choice. What do you want me to do, beg? No. And I meant it. I didn't want her begging. I didn't want a grand apology. I didn't want to drag the breakup out long enough for her to locate the exact words that would make me doubt myself. I picked up the bracelet box. I'm leaving. Alyssa stood. Gabriel, wait. I looked at her. For 1 second, I saw the woman from the beginning. The one who sent cereal box voice notes and dragged me out for pancakes. The one who had made me feel chosen. Then she said, "Can you at least take down the videos first?" And the moment passed. No. I walked out. The fallout wasn't as dramatic as the internet wanted it to be. Cole didn't declare his love for Alyssa. He didn't fight me. He didn't become her new boyfriend. According to Evan, Cole backed away almost immediately once he realized the situation was public and complicated. He had liked the attention. He didn't want responsibility for it. As Micah put it, Cole disappeared the second the attention got expensive. Piper stopped defending Alyssa after the family dinner. She sent me a brief message saying, "I should have told you sooner. I'm sorry." I told her I appreciated the honesty, but I didn't need anything else from her. Sabrina made Alyssa apologize to Ivy. I don't know how sincere it was. Ivy told me only that she had accepted the words, not the excuse. Several of Alyssa's friends distanced themselves. Not because I launched some campaign against her, but because they realized she had used different people as cover and told each of them a slightly different story. She also had to start paying for the conveniences I had quietly covered. The delivery membership. The streaming accounts. The shared rides. The gym plan. A week after the breakup, she sent me a message complaining that I had cut her off financially. I replied, "You have your own income. I stopped paying for optional services after we broke up." She didn't answer that. Instead, she left voicemails. The first was angry. "You are enjoying this. Don't pretend you're not. The second was crying. I don't know how you can just erase me. The third was almost an apology. I know I messed up, but you made it impossible to fix. That was Alyssa's pattern all the way to the end. Even her accountability came with a clause that made me responsible for the outcome. I kept the screenshots. Not because I wanted to keep reliving it, but because she continued telling some people that I had invented the break story and manipulated Piper. I sent one final message. Do not rewrite this. If you keep telling people I invented what happened, I will post the full timeline. I do not want further contact outside of returning property or resolving shared charges. She wrote, Are you threatening me? I answered, No. I'm telling you I will defend myself with the truth. After that, I blocked her everywhere except email. I also deleted the original video with Ivy once the immediate public accusation stopped. That surprised some people. They assumed I would keep it up because it was popular. But Ivy had been right. She didn't deserve to remain a symbol in a fight she hadn't chosen. I left the clarification video up for a while because it protected the timeline, then archived it after things settled. The internet had already moved on. I hadn't, at least not immediately. For weeks, I still reached for my phone when something funny happened. I still noticed the kind of sparkling water Alyssa liked at the store. I still had moments where I wondered whether I had destroyed something reparable because I was angry. That is the uncomfortable part of ending a bad relationship. You don't stop loving someone at the exact moment you stop accepting how they treat you. Micah came over one night with takeout and found the bracelet box on my kitchen counter. You keeping that as a trophy? He asked. No. Then why is it still here? I don't know what to do with it. Sell it. It has the date engraved. Then melt it down and make a tiny statue of a red flag. I laughed harder than the joke deserved. Eventually, I took it to a jeweler. They couldn't fully remove the engraving without damaging the inside, so I sold it for less than I paid. That felt appropriate. I lost money on the bracelet, the reservation fee, and plenty of other things I would never get back. But I stopped confusing sunk costs with reasons to stay. Some criticism of me was fair. The first video wasn't purely noble. I wanted Alyssa to feel exposed. I wanted her to see that my effort had value outside the little system where she decided when it counted. I shouldn't have involved Ivy publicly. I apologized, and I changed what I could. But I will not accept the argument that because my reaction was imperfect, Alyssa's behavior should have remained hidden. For years, my silence had protected her from consequences. She mistook that protection for permission. The anniversary dinner wasn't the real breaking point. It was just the first time the pattern became impossible to explain away. The empty chair, the fake party, the public story, the message to Piper, they all said the same thing. She believed my forgiveness had no limit. She believed she could disappoint me, lie about it, and wait for me to repair the damage for both of us. She was wrong. I didn't replace her with her stepsister. I replaced waiting with walking away. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.